And now let's talk about the matching type. So, matching items appears differently. It consists of two parallel lists of words or phrases. The students are tasked to pair. The first list, which is to be matched, is referred to as a premises, while the other list from which to choose its match based on a kind of association is the options. And now let's talk about the general guidelines in constructing matching type of test. So first, keep the list of premises and the list of options homogeneous or belonging to a category. In sample number 1, the premises are events associated with the Philippine presidents, while in the options are all names of the presidents. In sample number 2, column A lists some theories in astronomy about how the universe was evolved, and column B lists the names of the theories homogeneously is a basic principle in matching item. Now, let's talk about number 2. Number 2, keep the premises always in the first column and the options in the second column. So, since the premises are oftentimes descriptions of events, illustrations of principles, functions of characteristics, they appear longer than the options, which are most of the times are names, categories, objects, and parts. Ordering of the two columns this way saves reading time for the students, since they will usually read one long premise once and select the appropriate match from a list of short words. If ordered the options, the student will read a short word as the premise, then read through long descriptions to look for the correct answer. Especially for sample number 2, the students will normally read a theoretical postulate first and then logically go through the names of the theories given in column B. Imagine the time spent if the opposite process is done. Number 3, keep the list in the two columns unequal in number. Basic reason for this is to avoid guessing. The options in column B are usually more than the premise in column A. If the two lists are equal in number, students can strategically resort to wise elimination in finding the rest of the pairs. There are matching items, however, when the options are much less than the premises. This is recommended when testing ability to classify. For instance, column A will be a list of 10 animals which are the classified, and column B could be just 4 categories of mammals. With this format, it is important to mention in the test directions that an option can be used more than once. Number 4, test directions always describe the basis for matching. So, match column A with column B is a no-no and matching type. Describe clearly what is to be found in the two columns, how they are associated, and how matching will be done. Invalid scores of students could be due to extraneous factors like misinterpretation of how matching is to be done, misunderstanding in using gives option. Example, using an options only once when the teacher allows use for an option more than once, and limiting number of items to be answered when there are few options given. Number 5, keep the number of premises not more than 8 as shown in the two samples item. So, fatigue set is when there are too many items in a set, and again, test validity suffers. If an item writer feels that there are many concepts to be tested, dividing them into sets is a better strategy. It is also suggested that a set of matching items should appear on a paper only and not to be carried on to the next page. Frequently, flipping the test papers just to look for appropriate options requires additional time. Number 6, ambiguous lists should be avoided. So, this is especially true in the preparation of options for the second column. They should only be one option appropriately associated with the premise unless it is unequivocally mentioned that an option could be used more than once, as I mentioned in number 4. This often occurs when matching events and places, events and names, descriptions and characters. For instance, in description character matching, a premise like mean to Cinderella may carelessly list stepmother and stepsister as options which are both correct. Either the premise is improved or one option removed. It can be seen that matching type as a test format. Examples of matching type test. So, directions. The first column describes events associated with Philippines presidents, while the second column gives their name. In the space provided, write the letter of the presidents that matches the description. Column A, number 1, first president of the republic. Number 2, declared martial law during his term. Number 3, first president to resign from office. Number 4, first woman president. Number 5, died in an airplane crash. Then number 6, a uniformed man elected into office. While in the column B gives their names. Letter A, Ramon Magsaysay. B, Corazon Aquino. C, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. D, Manuel Quezon. E, Fidel C. Ramos. F, Emilio Aguinaldo. G, Joseph Ejercito Estrada. H, Manuel A. Rojas. And I, Ferdinand Marcos. Another example of matching type test. Directions. Column A contains theoretical postulations and how the universe came about. Match each one with the name of the theory given in column B. Indicate the appropriate letter to the left of the number in column A. Column A, number 1. Large scales, features of the universe do not charge over time. Number 2. About 90% of the matter in the universe does not interact with radiation. Number 3. The spiral arms in galaxies cannot be permanent condensations of matter. Number 4. The planets describe closed orbits about the Earth. Then number 5. Planets were formed from small solid bodies caused by eruptions of stars. While the column B indicates the name of the theory. Letter A, dark matter theory. B, density wave theory. Letter C, superdense theory. Letter D, infinite worlds theory. Letter E, galactic rotation theory. F, inflationary universe theory. Letter G, planetesimal theory. Letter H, Ptolemaic theory. I, steady state theory. And now, let's talk about true or false type of quiz. In this type of test, the examinees determine whether the statement presented is true or false. And now, let's talk about the general guidelines in constructing true or false test. Number 1, avoid a very long statement. Number 2, Avoid trivial questions. Number 3. It should contain only one idea in each item except for statement showing the relationship between cause and effect. Number 4. It can be used for establishing cause and effect. Number 5. Avoid using opinion-based statement. If it cannot be avoided, then should be attributed to somebody. Number 6. Avoid using negative or double negatives. Construct the statement positively. Number 7. Avoid specific determiners such as never, always, all, none, for they tend to approach in the statements that are false. Number 8. Avoid specific appear in the statements that are true. Number 9. The number of true items must be the same with the number of false items. Number 10. Avoid grammatical clues that lead to a correct answer such as the article a, and, the. Number 11. Avoid statement directly taken from the textbook. Number 12. General guidelines in constructing true or false test. Avoid arranging the statements in a logical order with such as TTT, FFF, TFTF, TTFF. And lastly, number 13, directions should indicate when or how the students should mark their answer. And now, let's talk about the examples of true or false type of test. Direction. Write your answer before the number in each item. Write T if the statement is true and F if the statement is false. Number 1. Test constructor should never phrase a test item in the negative. Number 2. Photosynthesis is the process by which leaves make a plant's food. Number 3. The equation 3x cubed 4 plus 6 is equal to 4x squared plus 6.